The sergeant looked me up and down, and out and up and down, with a kindly smile in his laughter time. He stroked his sergeant cheek, and as he took the station's book, "Your name's Timothy," said he. So out I stuck my chest like a duck, says I'm Moriarty. I'm a well-known bully of the Silver School. I belong to the DNG. And when I go out, the people shout, "Are you there, Moriarty?" When my work is done and my case is run, and I go on my long last beat to heaven's shore, I'll quickly soar, St. Peter there to greet. And I hope he'll say in his kindly way, "Is it there, Tim, yourself I see? Your reward you won for your work well done. Flap your wings, Moriarty. Flap your wings, Moriarty."
Hello, this is Sister Maurice, who is home from South Africa after 63 years. There are some questions I would just like to ask you, Sister. The first being, how many sisters, brothers were in the family?
4 brothers and 4 sisters. We were 4.
And their names?
My brother was Danny, Richie, and Thomas. And my sister was Maggie, Joanne, Kathleen, Mary Ellen, and Nora.
And when did you first decide you'd like to enter the convent? Were you very young when you decided?
Yes, I was very, very young. And I loved to be, I always used to, I used to sing that song, I will, but one day I was going over on a message somewhere. Yes. And I was frightened first. I wanted to be a nun, but I was frightened. So I was going over on a message, and I was going down a hill, and I had a basket of eggs. And I thought, well, I started, "I will be a nun, and I must be a nun."
You sang that number, did you?
Sang it, and I said, my daddy often wanted me to be a nun. So when I went down on the level part, I thought, well, perhaps I won't be a nun. I shan't be a nun. And my daddy often told me I shan't be a nun. Then I got a scruple. I thought, my goodness, there I am, turning away from God already. And then I went home, but I was always full of being a nun. I wanted.
Sorry, what age were you then when you decided that?
16 and a half. About 16, I think, because it was a half. It was about a year then before. Then I went to my daddy, and I was rather frightened first. And I said, "Daddy," and I burst out crying, "I want to be a nun." I thought he would say no. But he said, "Mom, my child, what an honor to have a daughter nun."
That was lovely. That was lovely. Tell me, what school did you go to in Macroom?
I went to Munifluk first, as a child, first. And then I went down to my auntie. My mother died then, and I went to my auntie at the halfway house. I went to Kulavukig there, there's a school there.
And tell me, any of your school colleagues ever entered the church?
Yes, many did. In Kulavukig, there's a list on the wall there of all the nuns that have been. There was about 7 altogether. The girls was very, very good. Very lovely girls too, and they persevered to the end.
Was it a mixed class? Boys, girls?
Boys and girls, yes. Boys.
Any boys entered the priesthood?
No boys. But the priest came in one morning, and he said, we were all the boys and the girls, and he said, "Who would love to be nuns?" And so we put up our hands, and the boys all put up their hands too. So
there was obviously some attraction in the classroom other than religious life.
Yes. So anyway, I used to collect for the black babies You know, we have pinpricks, and we thought it was, and then we got a letter and thanks, and we thought it was marvellous to get the letter. And I thought it'd be lovely to go to Africa and have all these little black babies, taking them all up to heaven. They'd be like the holy innocents, you know. And
Tell me, what age you said you left Ireland at 16 and a half, left to Macroom.
16 and a half, yes.
And where did you go to, having left Ireland?
And then we went into Hammersmith.
In England.
In England, no, yeah, in England, yes. And we were there in the novitiate for your 3 years, really. You're 2 years a novice, and then you're professed, and then you're sent to a branch house. My first branch house was Cardiff, and I thought it was very important when I went there. You know, I was only very young. And
So we all knew you were important. We still do.
And I was to look after the old people, for sister, you know, and feed them. I thought it was a great vocation. I saw the poor people, you know, coming in, and I was delighted. I was very happy. Then I got lonely after a while, and I went to my superior, and I said, Mother, I don't know. They were always saying that they wouldn't take, you know, elderly nuns, because, you know, they wouldn't live long and they wouldn't be found. So I thought it was a good excuse for me. So I said, I think I'm too old anyway, Mother. And she said,
At 16 and a half.
16 and a half. So I thought, I didn't know. She didn't want to, I didn't want her to know that. So she said, how old are you now, sister? And I said, 16 and a half, Mother. Thinking, and she took a fit of laughing. Oh, I said, Mother, it's no laughing matter. I tried to make it very serious, you know. But she couldn't, you know. But she said, no, Jerry, I'll take it. So she took me aside and explained all about the religious life, you know. And then I got very happy, and I forgot all about it then.
How many years did you spend in England?
I was in England for not long, about only 2 years, I think, because from Durban, then we were sent to the different houses that needed sisters, you know, just to help out. I was sent to Newcastle on Tyne, and then I was there for a year. Then at Middlesbrough, sister had died, and we just took her place just for a while, you know.
I mean, did you ever fall in love with any Englishman while you were there?
No, I didn't know. It would be an Irishman if I did.
Well, the reason I asked, because you left Ireland, obviously not telling us that you hadn't fallen in love or hadn't fallen in love, and then I thought perhaps you might have met an Englishman that you would have fallen in love with, but no.
Thank God, no. I was very afraid. I was sticking to my vocation. I thought it could happen, you know. So I had to pray against it too. Yes. So then I went, after 2 years there, we went home then again to Hammers to make our final vows. And then after that, you were professed, you say. You were a professed sister then. So we went home then, and there were 4 of us making our final vows.
Sorry, may I ask, were any of the 4, any other girls from Macroom who were being professed with you?
No, they weren't with me, no. They were all different, no.
Were they Irish, all Irish girls?
All Irish girls, yes. I think one from Tipperary, I think, one from Limerick. And, you know, so we made our final vows. Then when you made your final vows, you were sent out to a branch house as a professed sister. And my first house then was Durban.
So you left, what year would that have been when you left England fully professed?
15,
46, 47 perhaps?
37.
37.
37, yes.
And tell me, the first number of years, I believe you weren't allowed home for quite some time.
No, and we took that as a, you know, as a great sacrifice, and we were quite happy with it, you know.
So when was your first visit back to Ireland, having left?
2 years, I think, 22 years after that. And then I was sent home. We were real strangers.
And tell me, obviously, you mentioned strangers. You must have felt like a stranger coming back.
Very, very much. And my nieces and nephews had grown up, and, you know, I hadn't seen them. But it was very happy, and we weren't even allowed then to go to our own home. We had to go to a Nazareth house. So I went to Mallow, and my dad came over to Mallow, and my sister and my brother, and my dad used to play the violin, you know, and he used to teach us step dancing. and he brought the fiddle over, and we had great fun. I did all my jigs and reels and everything, and they were so glad that I was so happy, you know.
Well, I know you're still a dab hand at the jigs and reels, and perhaps we'll see you on the floor later on. You mentioned did your mum die early? Did your mum?
Died early. When I was only 12, my mother died. And it was sad.
And your father, he saw you through into profession and none. Well, that was lovely.
Yes, and he came over to, when I was professed, he came over to for the profession to Hammersmith, and my sister with him. It was lovely.
And you mentioned you had how many brothers? Was it 3 brothers and 4 sisters?
3 brothers, yes, and 4 sisters. Tommy went to America. You see, my brother Tommy, and Richie he was married in England, and who was the other one? Tommy, and Danny, of course. Danny was lovely, yes.
Danny, I believe, died recently. Isn't that so?
He died about, yes, in February. 13th of February, and Tommy had died 8 years before that on the same day, my brother.
So he was the last remaining link in the family.
And I'm the last remaining link.
And no doubt looking at you, you'll be here for many, many a year, and we'll see many men return from Africa.
Yes, please God, yes. I love to work for the poor. I love to work for the poor, you know, and the little children. We have the 8 children there now, and it's a big job, you know. Yes. But it's a great job. I mean, I always think they're the holy innocents, you know, beautiful.
Can you tell us exactly what do you do? What kind of work are you doing in Africa? Are you still working, or have you put the feet up now?
Yes, I'm more, you know, because I've got a bit, you know, sick and not too well. But I help with the old people. I say the rosary with them, and I talk to them. I teach them little songs, and you know, and pray with them, and they love you to talk and, you know, comfort them a little bit. Yes. So you're kept busy like that. You feed the invalids, you know. It's a lovely little job. Since
you've come back, have you met many of your colleagues that you would have known in the past?
I have 1 or 2. Mrs. Barry, I know her well. We went to school together. It's lovely. I made a big joke with her in the beginning. I told her. She wasn't too pleased, but she's a lovely girl. We were great friends.
I'm sure you've seen many a change in the country as well from the first day you left Ireland.
Very, very much, yes.
Was it by boat you travelled at the time to England?
Stirling Castle, yes. Yes, the Union Castle line. We took 14 days to come out.
14 days. From?
From Southampton.
To Africa?
To Africa, yes. It was lovely. We had 2 priests, and we were 14 sisters. They were for the houses that were, you know, 14. Yes. And 2 sisters. We had 2 priests, and we had 2 masses every morning. It was lovely.
Tell me, was there ever a time that you felt you might leave the convent?
Never. I was always afraid that I would, isn't it, when I used to pray against that, you know, because we had 1 or 2 that did leave. And I met one on the cloister one day going home, and he gave me such a turn, you know. But she wanted, she was a nice girl, but she felt she had no vocation, which was the right thing for her to do. So I thought, no, I would, I don't, you know, I thought I'd keep close to God. I'd try to keep praying anyway, you know.
Well, that's a lovely way to finish this little chat. I'm her nephew, by the way. So it's lovely to sit with my aunt. My last remaining link. To come again in the millennium year. And I've no doubt, looking at her, that we'll see her back here again in 2004 to celebrate again, and perhaps we sit again and discuss.
Because God bless them all. They're so good to me. My nieces and nephews are beautiful, and I keep praying for them.
Thank you very much indeed, Sister Maurice. Thank you very much indeed, all of you. Many thanks. Bye bye.
It's very good. I hope it's all.